Okay, we're gonna move on. Please stop talking. Now, again, I just want you to watch. We're gonna move on to our next square. And I'm gonna kind of sop up some of this water here. We're gonna move on to the next square. Like I said, we go layer by layer. So you wanna make sure that as you're moving forward, we don't put our hand here, okay? This is only really gonna affect those of you that are left-handed. I don't know if I have any in here that are left-handed. But if you put your hand on top of it, obviously it's going to smudge. If you're right-handed, this should just be an easy transition, okay? I'm left-handed. I try to cater to most of my right-handers, but in general, it's just easier to go this direction. If you wanted to transfer it down here, you could, if that would just be easier for you, but it is going to mess up like the overall scene. But if you feel like it would be easier for you, that's fine. Okay. We're moving on to the ocean scene. So I'll give you a quick view of this. What is something similar that you see here that we've done here? The circles, right? Right? But do we start with anything here? No. So that means, yes, we'll still wet the paper, but we're going to do the back and forths on the edges first, and then we're just going to pull everything to the center. Does that make sense? Would you like to watch first, or do you feel confident? I'm nervous that some of you are like, I could do this, but I trust you. Because if you screw up, you have to fix it, not me. So, if you want to watch, by all means, I'm going to go ahead and move my palette over here. And I'm just going to wake my blue up a little bit more before I start adding water to my paper. So I'm going to start with a hopefully clean, larger brush, and I'm just going to add a bunch of water to my paper. I don't want it super sopping like last time. You just want a nice thin layer over your paper, enough to get the paint moving. Again, I'm not worried about painting on the table because we do what at the end of each class? We clean. Now I'm going to grab my paint. I'm going to make sure it's fairly wet, and I'm just going to come in back and forth. Now, notice it's like really, really dark right now, right? It's like, oh, that might be too much. But my paper is wet, and my paints are wet, so I should be very able to start moving it around. Notice I cleaned my whole brush off, and I'm just going in with a clean brush with water on it. And this is where you start to shape and move that paint how you want it to be. If you want your edges to be darker, you go back in with more paint. So I have a nice light layer, and remember I started with like fairly dark edges. I have a nice light layer. Now while it's starting to kind of dry off, I'm going to go in with the watery section of my paints, and I'm just going to continue to add some darker edges until I like the texture and the shape. I'm getting a little concerned I have too much blue, so I'm just going to wipe my brush off and continue pulling in that circle motion. I'm going to clean my brush off one more time, and I'm just going to start to pull everything to the center in a nice spiral. I hope that with the talking, we are actually working. You can make your ripples chalky, so they're all like texturized. You can go more smooth if you'd like. You can pull a dry brush through. Just make sure everything is more of that circle motion. Do not color the whole thing blue. You do not have nearly enough water, Detweiler. Lots more water, like quickly. And you as well, Miss Reddit. Lots more water. Don't be afraid of your water, it's your friend. It's making you listen, though, isn't it? My British accent. Yes. Yep. And then you'll just combine everything with a nice circle in the middle. Once again, showing you the start and the finish, just so you have more of an idea of what it will look like. How many of you remember seeing these like in the hallway and on the TV out there?
Me vaguely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny, Miss Carter. That's what we said. Water is your best friend.
Water is your best friend, even with acrylics. You need a lot more water, my friend. Your paint is very dry. No. Blend it, my dude. You've got hard edges. Go from the outside in. Outside in. Edges in. Even with your water. Browski, more water. That's smart. Do it upside down. Look at you. I didn't know you were left-handed. High five from across the room. Do I have anybody else in here that's left-handed? We're special. No. Did you know that most creatives, about 85% of creatives, are left-handed? Or at least ambidextrous?
It means you could use both hands.
Mr. Senior.
Like this?
Hey, I'm smart. I ain't
Yes,
that smart.
I'm teasing you. Yep.
I know Opens one is 11.
That looks really good. All I want you to do now is instead of like hard edges, you see how like it's a smooth blend? Yes? Yes. So the best way to do that is to take a clean brush with just water and pull from your edge in. Are you checking out?
No, I'm
Oh. Oh, good luck. Yes. You're in a really nice spot. You could totally add more blues on your edges to make it look like more depth within your piece. I would recommend it because it'll look cooler. But it's up to you.
Miss Carter.
Now that it's a little bit more, yes. Yes.
Okay.
So now that mine has a little bit more dry time.
Why is there anyone down?
You may be just pushing against your paper texture too much and it's starting to like ball it up. I would probably say leave it alone. So if you guys are noticing the loose back and forths that I'm doing with my brush are adding to the texture. And right now they're very hard lined and hard edged. But if I take my clean brush with a little bit of water on it and I just smooth it over, texture is still there, but it's not as aggressive. This is also a great way to incorporate your dry brush. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Valenzuela, will you answer it and tell them just a sec?
Need to call for you. I don't know.
I wanted that.
Sure. Well, we're not gonna do it. What happened? I do. Careful.
I only miss. So.
You have what you need.
One more. Hey, come forward. Yes, no. You can leave. I don't care. That's fine. Don't forget that it's here. Yes. Okay, I'm feeling like we're ready to move on. Is that true? Okay, we're going to move down here to the left. And that is our lovely mountain scene. This is going to be like the easiest one that we do. But I do need you to focus, okay? So, since it is down here, and yes, our paper is starting to curl. That's okay. It's not a big deal. If you have black, you can do this with black. If you want to make a black so it has more dimension to it, you're welcome to do that. If you want to do this with like a dark, dark blue, you can, but you'd have to add what to your blue? Black. I'm going to do this with just a black. So, since we're working on a background, what do you think we're going to do first? We're going to do a water wash. Super easy. So, and I would prefer everybody watch this, because this does get a little complicated, because if you go too dark, then it really makes your mountains frustrating. So, we are doing a water wash right now, which is just like we've been doing the whole time, covering the whole paper, making sure there's no bubbles in the water, everything is nice and spread out. Then, with my black, what am I doing right now? I'm making it very wet. I'm going to pull it to the side, okay? That's already too dark. But since my paper is already wet, I'm going to start up top. Yes, that's already too dark. I'm going to quickly pull it all around my square because I, one, don't want it that dark, and two, need it to be one solid value. So we want like a flat wash. How many times have I gone over this already? Multiple times, right? When that dries, it's going to be the lightest of grays. That is your goal. Go for it. And at this time, if you need to clean your water, do it first.
And they have me and Lily's best. Clean her water's like every time.
It's a good idea. Come in. When I paint watercolors at home, I have a clean cup and I have a clean my brush cup. So I have a clean cup of water that I squeeze from, but I don't cross contaminate because you're always going to need clean water. And again, if you've used too much paint and you're panicking, grab a paper towel, dab it out, start over. Don't rip up your paper though. Just go nice and slow.
Is that a good shape?
I lost my brush. No, I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
We are really slow with this one. Look at the square. The background's really, really light, right? Yeah, we don't want to go dark. Oh, there we go. Haha. Now you can see both. Right, Weiler, can we not store our brushes in our cup of water? There's no reason for like 6 brushes to be in there. Because like really, look how light the background is. So it sets the precedent for how like the back mountain is gonna be. We're thinking like foggy.
They're terrifying. There's a bear, right? I don't want to go okay, is this one? She might.
Hiram, are you being brave and using blue? That's so awesome. Once upon a time I did this and I made everybody make black before they did this. Oh, that was painful. Because every time we had to remake black, it was like a different level of black, so it was not completely uniform. Yeah. It was rough.
She goes, that was a rough time back then.
I said you could go with like a dark blue, but you had to add black to the color. You could go with dark green. You're only on the first level. You could do as the mountains go if you wanted. I've had like dark green and dark blue. I haven't seen any reds. I wouldn't go super red because like literally the next step we're gonna do is dark red, but it's up to you. Okay, we're gonna do the last square, and granted we only have about 4 minutes to try to complete this, so I need you to pay attention. It should be fairly easy. We're doing the same step we did on the green section. Shh. We are simply, instead of only 2 colors, we're gonna add 3. So, we're gonna have yellow fading to what? And then, okay, now if you have not already made orange on your palette, that would be your first step. Then you're going to whitewash. And then you're going to repeat this step going from yellow to orange to red. I'm going to let you try it on your own. Just go nice and slow. But the first step is obviously to make your orange. How do you make orange? Look behind you. You're literally right by the color wheel. That is an essential skill for a watercolors class.
What kind of orange? Like a red orange? Or...
I would go with more of a classic like pumpkin orange if you can. Yeah. Because realistically, it is going to blend a little bit with your yellow, and it is going to blend a little bit with your red. So as long as you have a consistency, you should be fine. So I am whitewashing my paper. I'm going to dip in with the yellow. Went a little aggressive there. That's okay. I'm going to pull that all the way to the edges. Then I'm going to add my orange to the outer edges, about right here. Gonna let it blend with my yellow.
Yellow first, right?
Yellow first. Yes. So once I have my orange around my yellow, then I will come in on the edges with my red. And you want to think working quickly because it is going to dry now that you're adding a lot more colors to it. It's going to dry fairly quickly. So you got to think working quickly.
Is it really wet yellow? Right?
Yes. You will still be able to work on this next time. If it doesn't quite work out the way you wanted to, you can still add layers next time because we do have to clean up in like literally 1 minute. If you have not started and you're like, I want to wait and try it next time, that's fine too. but this shouldn't take very long. No, you do not add the red first. First you do water, then you do yellow, then from there you're orange, and then you pull the red in. So you start in the center, go out, and then the red is what comes in. Did you wet your paper? Okay, then your yellow circle in the center. Then from there you do your orange on the outside of that, and then you go from red into your orange. It is 11:10, so I do need you to start cleaning up. Again, if you've not completed this one, that is fine. We will work on it next time before moving forward.